I am a man of my word. Many of you have asked me to do more Friday the 13th tier lists. So today, I want to give you guys my ranking of all of the Jasons in Friday the 13th.
She stopped at a light and saw him walking in that field behind the Lost River Drive-In. Julie said he was so creepy.
Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Nick here, and today I am going to give you a tier list of all of the Jason Voorhees looks. Now, I should specify this is not going to include all of the unmasked looks. One, because Tier Maker, I was having a hard time trying to find a list that actually included all of them. And two, because I want to see if you guys would even want that. I'm going to look more overall at Jason in the movie, the way Jason appears in The Mask. And I want to say before we get into this, on this list, they did not include Roy Burns. That is a slight that I will not forgive. I don't care who you are, I don't care where you come from. Roy Burns will not be disrespected in that way. I've said my piece on that, and I will also tell you guys where I would put Roy Burns. And without further ado, let me show you guys the tiers. The first tier is Elite, which obviously means the best. The peak of Jason Voorhees. For many different reasons, this look of Jason is the bee's knees. The next one is Roy Burns, because I love the look of Roy Burns. Do I think it is elite? No, just a smidge below, but damn good. The middle tier is my special boy. And that is just, Jason. I see that as Jason. Not one of my favorites, but Jason. The next one had potential. It could have been great. There are nuggets of it there, but it's not all there. And the last one is a little limp, which means not a big fan. So let's get into this right from the jump. We are starting with, of course, the only physical appearance you get of Jason Voorhees in the original Friday the 13th is the unmasked Jason coming out of the lake at the very end. And Jason from the lake, I don't even know, man. This might be sacrilegious. I don't know, because it's an iconic moment. Don't get me wrong. And it's the introduction to a character that we are all going to come to know and love more than anything, more than some of us love our own children. I'm going to put this in my special boy. I'll put it in my special boy. One, because I just feel like that's fitting, oh, that's my special boy. But furthermore, it is a pretty memorable look. And when you think of Jason, of course, the hockey mask is synonymous with the name Jason Voorhees and with the franchise name Friday the 13th. I don't think you could ever not think those things. But I will also argue that if you are a student of horror, you also think of this, because this is the first time you see Jason Voorhees. And it's memorable. I remember this actually made me jump. This freaked me out the first time I saw it. I said, holy shit balls. Okay. All right, now we're cooking. I don't think that this is top tier Jason. I don't want that to get mistaken. I don't want people to think that I'm saying, oh, this is the look for Jason Voorhees. No. But, I mean, it's iconic in and of itself. And I do think that that's mommy's special boy right there. Look at him. Floundering around in the water. All right, I'm going to go by film because this is a little out of order and I don't like it. And that is Friday the 13th, Part 2's Jason, Sackhead Jason, Tater Sack Jason, as Pizzow would call him. Okay, understand, guys. I'm not going off of what Jason does in the movie. The portrayal of Jason, no. This is the look of Jason. How iconic is it? And why do I find it as iconic or not so much as I do? Tater Sack Jason, I'm putting in Roy Burns. Now, I've said for many a year that I almost said that Roy Burns, that Friday the 13th Part Two's Jason is one of my favorite Jasons. I think this Jason is animalistic. I think this Jason is unforgiving. I think this Jason is straight up a demon. I wouldn't want to come across this Jason. Now, granted, would you want to come across any Jason Voorhees? Probably not. He's probably going to tear you limb from limb with reckless abandon. That's totally fair. But this Jason, there's something about this one where it's just like, I don't even think I could convince myself I stand a chance. I don't. I really don't. He'd find me and he would skewer me. I mean, that's just, and I think the opening of this movie really helps set the tone for the kind of Jason you're going to get. I think it's a great portrayal of Jason. The look is really good. It's Roy Burns, but is it elite? I don't know if I can say that, but it's great. All right, Friday the 13th, Part 3, 3D. As many of you guys know, my favorite Friday the 13th film. I understand it has a lot of flaws. People want to bitch about Shelley. People want to bitch about some of the, practical effects because obviously 3D. I get it. Whatever. Don't care. Chris rules. Jason is a demon in this movie. And this is elite. Whether you love or hate Part 3, I think most people can agree this mask is clean. This get up is clean. This Jason is imposing. He's hulking. Yet also has this weird way of being like an apparition, like kind of ghostly at the same time. But it is when Jason gets his mask. This is when you see Jason Voorhees as Jason Voorhees that you've come to know and love for the first time in this movie. Is there legitimately an argument to be made that this is not elite? This is elite. Again, separate your feelings of the movie itself if you have to. Although I love it, this is an elite look. And I'm trying to keep the portrayal out of it. I said that earlier. I'm trying to do that. And, I think even if you disregard the portrayal, everything else I said stands. This is elite. What are we talking about here? Friday the 13th, the final chapter, Part Quattro, is also elite. Now, I don't know. This is usually the movie in the franchise that has like the consensus opinion that it's the best by most fans, by critics. I mean, maybe not critics at the time, but these days, when looking back on the franchise, almost every ranking you see is going to have this in the top 2. I love the final chapter. Don't get me wrong. It's a great Friday the 13th film. It truly is. Not my favorite, though. Now, I can be fair here and be reasonable and say whether or not it's my favorite is irrelevant. This look is iconic. This is elite Jason. Now, it's interesting to me, too, as the movies would go on. I feel like they would try to do more and more or do tweaks here and there that I think they thought were like improving upon the concept, when in reality, I feel like it was doing the opposite. It was taking away from Jason. And we'll get there when we get there. But I mean, come on. Are you going to sit here and try to tell me that the final chapter Jason is not elite? Not in the portrayal, just in the look. That's elite. And I feel like there's good continuity between 3 and 4 in terms of the look of Jason. And I really like that. I really like that a lot. So the final chapter's got to be elite. Now I'm going to spoil this for you guys, even though I spoiled it at the top. Roy Burns isn't included on here. Why? Because he's not Jason Voorhees. Yeah, I get it. Whoever made this list is like, it's not Jason Voorhees. He's not going on a Jason tier list. Fair, fine, whatever. Be that as it may, Roy Burns goes into Roy Burns, okay? I created that tier for a specific reason. I love the Hawk in that movie. I think it is clean as all hell. I love the subtle differences that you'll never mistake it for Jason Voorhees. You could see 15 Hawks next to each other, and you'll know the Roy Burns one. The subtle differences really stand out. Now, I love part five, and I'll defend that movie to my dying breath, but that is irrelevant. I still think Roy Burns, the look of Roy Burns as copycat Jason, is damn near elite. So it goes right into Roy Burns. And I've stated my piece on that. Jason from Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives. Now, before I put this in a tier, I just want to say, I have noticed over the last 5-10 years, this is the movie that really has grown the most in appreciation from a lot of horror fans. And I totally get it. This was like a stab at self-referential meta horror before it was really popular. This and New Nightmare, I think, were cutting edge in that way before Scream really popularized it. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong. But I've never loved the look of Jason in this one. I know. I'm putting it in my special boy. I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I think it's good enough. But I just don't like the look. There's something about it. I feel like the body isn't big enough. Maybe that's because I was getting used to part 4 and part 5 and part 3. It just seems not like the Jason I'd come to know and love. I also don't like the way the mask fits. That might be crazy to say. Again, this could be totally sacrilegious. You guys know I like Friday the 13th. It's not a top 3 horror franchise for me. I know that's sacrilegious in and of itself, but I like the franchise. But Jason Lives is not one of my favorite looks of Jason. I mean, it's mid-tier. It's middle of the road. You can love the tone. You can love the characters. You can love the movie in and of itself. But I feel like the look, we can do better than that. We can do better than that. It's okay. It goes into my special boy. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Kane Hodder takes over as Jason Voorhees and changes history. I mean, in a lot of ways he did. Okay, so I've been very open over the years how I'm not a fan of The New Blood. Never have been. I feel like it's a lot of good ideas thrown together at the last minute. It's kind of like the Dream Child for Nightmare on Elm Street. Although I like the Dream Child more than I like Part 7 of Friday. It needed more time. But Kane Hodder does give a really good performance. And I can see why they brought him back for movie after movie. But how is the look? For me, Zombie Jason, as some might call him. I think he's Roy Burns. Now, some people might put him in elite, and that's totally fine. I get that. The wet look, the zombified look, the discoloration almost of the mask, the tethered, like weathered, tattered look, whatever word you want to use, of Jason in this movie, I think is really cool. And for the first time in this franchise, we got really a totally different look at Jason. Like, this was the first time where it was like, let's see a decayed, dilapidated Jason Voorhees. This is when Jason really went into different territory. Now, part of that was the physicality that Kane Hodder brought to the role, but a lot of it too was the look of Jason that they started going for. So while I may not be the New Blood's biggest fan, and I will never shy away from that, it's a damn good look. So I think it goes in Roy Burns. But then, ladies and gentlemen, then we have Jason Takes Manhattan. And that, for me, is absolutely elite. Now, there's only minor differences between 7 and 8. Really, they're, in my opinion, at least. I like the Hawk better in 8. I think it's a sharper color, sharper tone. I don't even know what you would say. It stands out more. I also like the accelerated decaying of Jason Voorhees in this one, like from 7 to 8. This truly looks and feels like full-blown zombie Jason. There's something about that iconic shot of Jason in Times Square that, like, there are a few images when I think of the Friday the 13th franchise that pop into my brain immediately, and that is one of them. So maybe there's some bias here. I mean, that's not to say Part 8 is a great movie. I have fun with it. it's definitely in the back half of the franchise ranking, guys. Don't worry. I'm not going to tell you that it's some masterpiece that you're not understanding. Absolutely not. But the look of Jason in this movie, dude, elite. What are we talking about? It's elite. Come on. I'm putting it in elite. I am. All right. Jason Goes to Hell. Man. I'm putting it in a little limp, guys. I'm sorry. I really am. I don't like this look of Jason at all. He looks like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, in my opinion. I hate what just seems like he's wearing like a bodysuit. Like it genuinely does. It seems like he's wearing like a fat suit, and that he's got roasted marshmallows that have like puffed up all on his head, where the mask just does not look like it fits right. The mask itself is like, I guess, a unique twist, but like I'm not a fan. I don't like this look of Jason. I never have. And some people are probably sitting here thinking, well, you're not a fan of this movie, so that's why. You're letting that color your opinion. No, I would say it's just another reason why I'm not a big fan of the movie. I mean, let's not talk about the fact that Jason is basically not in the film. But when he is, I love the opening of this movie. And then the lights come on and you get a really good look at Jason, and I'm like, oh, he's seen better days. Look, I feel like that's fair. I feel like even if you're a lover of this movie, you got to be able to admit, like, yeah, this definitely isn't one of the better Jason looks. Am I crazy? Or is this like a fan favorite look and I'm just like on an island here? Because I just don't see it. I hate it. I think it looks so wonky. I think it looks not at all akin to anything we'd seen before, and not for the better. Sometimes you can change things for the better. Jason Goes to Hell, not for me. Not for me. Nothing about that movie is for me, but especially the look of Jason Voorhees, not for me. Slug Jason probably looks better, and that's not even Jason. All right. Now we have two looks of Jason Voorhees and Jason X, obviously, because you have Jason before the upgrade and Jason after the upgrade. And Jason before the upgrade and Jason X is going into Roy Burns for me. I think this is a great look for Jason. I really, really do. This is when, look, Jason X has a lot of technical problems in terms of like visual effects and plot. Like, I get that. I love the movie, huge defender of it, but I concede that ground to you. But we're joking if we actually try to make the case that Jason, even before the upgrade, doesn't look awesome. Like, he's awesome. Love the mask, love the jacket, love Kane in this movie. I mean, again, the portrayal doesn't play into this, but I do feel like it's important to mention, I think it might be Kane's best portrayal, in my opinion. Like, this is quintessential Jason Voorhees for me, Jason X. The look is a little, I mean, I'm splitting hairs here. I prefer the wetter, decayed look from Takes Manhattan over the first look in Jason X. So I think that's why I put it in Roy Burns and not Elite. But it's still a great freaking look. And again, we're splitting hairs here. You're talking about like A plus and A. Like, what are we really talking about here? But I love Jason in this movie as a whole. I think the way they handle the character, I love the portrayal, I love the look. I think it's great. I mean, I truly think it's aces. So, but then we get to Uber Jason. And this is the one. Uber Jason is the one that everybody always has the most to say about, you know? Not even just the movie itself, but the look of Uber Jason. You know what I say? This is elite, brother. Okay? This is elite. My brothers and sisters. I can't even tell you what it was like watching this movie for the first time as a kid. And he gets this upgrade, and we get that first look of him. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I don't think I ever in a million years imagined Jason getting a futuristic upgrade to where he looks like the Terminator. Yet here we are, and we got it in Jason X. And dude, I'm sorry. I know it's a totally different look from what we had grown accustomed to with Jason. And that's totally fair if that's a knock you have with it. But like I said, when it came to Jason Goes to Hell, you can do something wildly different if you land it. They landed here. This thing is intimidating. Love the eyes. Love Kane Hodder's physical presence. I think it's just perfect for this look. This is Jason from Jason X. When I think of Jason X, I think of Uber Jason. I don't think of pre-Uber. I think of Uber Jason. When I think of Kane Hodder as Jason Voorhees, it's Uber Jason. That is the first place my mind goes to. I could sit here and lie to you guys, but I'm not going to do that. This shit is amazing. It's elite. Come on. All right. Jason Voorhees from Freddy vs. Jason. This had potential. Now, I've been open over the years about how I don't like Ken's portrayal in Freddy vs. Jason. I think most fans agree with that. I don't even think it's his fault. He was a stunt actor. He was hired for a job. Like, it is what it is. Very, demanding job. So they wanted somebody that could do stunt work. But it's not even just the fact that I don't think the portrayal is like Jason. That's not really the point. I just feel like it kind of looks like a dollar store Jason. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the mask looks a little cheap. The jacket looks a little cheap. The machete looks a little cheap, which is crazy because this movie was a big deal. And Freddy, Robert looks incredible in this movie. I feel like Jason was an afterthought in a lot of ways. Like, sure, he gets like all the kills, but in like the department of like his portrayal and his look, it's just not Jason to me. I don't know. And again, maybe I'm totally off base. Maybe so many people are like, oh no, I love the look. I've just never, ever thought of this Jason when I am picturing Jason Voorhees. Ever. The ones you see at the very top in Elite, those are the ones I'm thinking about. Shit, Roy Burns. Those come to mind too. My Special Boy comes to mind before Freddy vs. Jason's look. I just don't think it's a very good job. They really did our boy dirty in that movie. They really, really did. So it had potential. It did. But it's not all there. Doesn't work for me. And then the last one from the most recent film, which is crazy to say because it's been almost 20 years now, which is just, it'll literally blow your mind. It'll make you feel old, but it'll just blow your mind. Friday the 13th, 2009. I don't feel like this is the best picture they could have picked for this at all. There's much better images of Jason in that movie. I'm putting this in Roy Burns. It's great. It's a great look. It really, really is. I think the reason that I'm putting it in Roy Burns and not Elite is because it's not my go-to. It's not what I think of when I think of Jason. Not as big of a fan of the mask as some people are. I know that's kind of a point of contention. Some people just adore this mask. Like, this is iconic to them. Again, these are subtle things, and I'm not even like a hawk expert when it comes to Friday the 13th. You talk to my buddy Pizzal about that. He could tell you every minute difference. I couldn't. I can just tell you when I look at it, and it seems a little bit different. It looks a little bit different in certain ways, and I don't even know what it is. There's just something about it that's just a little less stellar than the other ones that I have above it, I would say. But it's a great look. As opposed to Freddy versus Jason, I actually think in a lot of ways they got the character of Jason right here. They made Jason intimidating again. They made Jason look like Jason. Now, there are aspects to the character that they changed that definitely piss some fans off, and you can either take or leave them. I'm not really here to debate whether or not it was the right decision. But it is a very good look. I have to be honest, it's a very good look. I don't think it's quite elite, but it's very good. So there you have it. Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th, masked Jason Voorhees, aside from the first one. I've got 4 in Elite. I've got 4 in Roy Burns. And, shout out to Roy Burns because he would be in there as well, but he's not Jason. Got 2 in My Special Boy, 1 in Had Potential, and only 1 in A Little Limp. And you know what? I'm going to be totally fair here as well, because I do think this bears mentioning. As someone that is a Halloween fan first and foremost, and then A Nightmare on Elm Street is my second favorite after Halloween, I'm just going to go on record and say Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street absolutely blow Halloween away in terms of the consistency with their antagonist, in the appearance of their antagonist. There are a handful of Halloween movies where it doesn't even look like Michael Myers. And it's just like, what are we doing here? How did you not get this right? Friday the 13th has one movie, in my opinion, where I'm like, what are we doing here? Every other one is at least passable. A Nightmare on Elm Street, I don't think there's a bad look to Freddy. Aside from the remake, I'll hear you on that one. But like, even then, I'd say I can think of off the top of my head right now 2 Halloween films where I think Myers does not look good. So, I'm going to be fair here. I'm going to call balls and strikes. I'm going to call it the way I see it. And look, I mean, there is insane amounts of consistency in Friday the 13th when it comes to the look of Jason and the portrayal for that matter. So I feel like I was fair there. But that's not really for me to decide, guys. That's for you to decide. The question now is for you. What tiers would you put each look of Jason in, and why? Do you agree with mine, or am I totally off base? Whatever it is, I want to know down below in the comment section, so please sound off. I want to thank you guys for requesting this, and if you want to see more Friday the 13th stuff, ask me what you want to see, and I will be glad to deliver it for you guys. So please let me know down below. Make sure to throw a like on this and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I don't know how many of you guys watch my stuff and you've never hit subscribe, because trust me, I do that all the time. I watch videos on YouTube and I realize I never subscribe to the channel. But every time they upload, it's in my suggested because I watch their stuff all the time. So if that happens to be the case for you, hit subscribe. Come on, Then you don't have to go, oh shit, I need to search to see if you uploaded something. No, YouTube will tell you. So look, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to hopefully giving you guys more tier lists that you want to see, but you got to let me know down below what it is that you want. So thank you. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.